I cannot imagine drinking a glass of wine alone in a room. Wine is something to be shared between people.
Food and wine in context, with family, with friends, with colleagues.
It all together makes something that could be very drab into something that could be quite magical.
You don't open a wine alone, or you're cuckoo, you know?
It is a form of personal social interaction, which I strongly believe in.
It commands communal participation in a shared culinary, olfactory experience.
Every Friday night through my childhood and my youth, my home was the scene of a festive dinner party for family and friends, featuring good talk, fine food, and memorable wines.
I was ignorant about wine. There is no question that when I was growing up, I thought wine was something for ritual, for celebration.
When we got married and she found herself part of the wine world about which you knew nothing, this fiercely bright woman plunged in and read everything printed and studied it and analyzed it. And today, I don't know of anyone in our little world more knowledgeable than my wife.
The differentiation, the nuance, the being able to spot what wine was from what district, what area. We once bought a trip to London, and it included lunch hosted by Michael Broadbent, whom we knew, at Christie's. Just before we were served, Michael stood up and with a sort of smile on his face, held up a decanter. And I looked up and I said, "Oh, Michael, that's interesting. That wine is the exact color of a 1934 Madeirized Anjou." I didn't see him because he was right next to me, but I looked at his wife across the way and I saw her go. He said, "Yes, that's what it is." So of course for a day or so, wherever I went in London, people said, "She didn't smell it, she didn't taste it, she didn't drink it, she looked at it." And of course then I opened my mouth again and became like everybody else.
They are very, very nice people. Very friendly, very down to earth, you know. But at the same time, they were expert, but they always stayed very modest, you know, very, very welcoming, very, very nice.
They've always viewed wine as something to share with everyone. And they were so clearly passionate about it that even for those who weren't that interested in wine, it was a kind of a sharing of their passion with others.
To me, they're sort of the ultimate power couple. But they're a power couple not in today's terminology of flash and dash, but they are a social, gracious, and intellectual power couple. And together, they're a real force of nature, and you don't see that often today anymore.
Anytime I've ever been in the presence of either of them, separately or together, I've had meaningful conversations about improving the world. It's a sense of commitment to the human condition that not everyone cares about, not everyone thinks about. That told me that they're down-to-earth people. And for an astrophysicist to say anyone is down to earth, I'm saying something there, let me just say.
Having come from a home where my parents were superb hosts, it was my good fortune to marry an extraordinary woman who carried on the tradition.
A series of dinners that would raise funds for the New York Public Library, and the hosts, they had to have themes. And I decided to do historical themes.
Talleyrand entertains Metternich at the Congress of Vienna. Another was Maimonides entertains Saladin.
I found all the early Edwardian things for the Edward VII dinner. I made the sugar sculpture of the library. When Neil deGrasse Tyson had a new book out, we did a book party for the library there for him, and then he lectured until 1 a.m. on the stars. The Feast of the Pheasant was my favorite because I did a lot of research for it, and we blew up medieval manuscripts, and we had early modern music quintet playing here, and we had the pheasant, and we had we did costumes as well.
I tried not to get in the way, it was largely my wife's doing, with what were considered some of the truly memorable dinners of the time.
We have found that at dinner parties, when you can talk, which was the only kind of dinner party we really liked, that people loosen up after a glass of wine. It doesn't necessarily take away inhibitions, but it gives them freedom to express themselves. People like Dan and me, who were born expressing ourselves, don't have that problem. We just have to contain it a little bit.
Wine drinking is fun. It's enjoyable, it's enriching, and it's fun to share. It's fun to compare and contrast. It's fun to hear your friends' comments on which wines pair best with which foods.
It is increased upon an intimate surrounding, I think. Or a large ceremonial surrounding will make it even more joyous. Certainly the sound level in any group goes up with wine service.
I've been to several events with Joanna and with Dan that they hosted. There was no bottle that was off limits. 29 Latour, oh yeah, we have that. 29 Latoche, oh yeah, we have that too. You just get it, open it, let's share it, let's drink it. It was about the pure enjoyment and the pleasure of having fine wine and being able to present it and share it with people.